Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's Marketing 101 for Kingdom believers who are looking to excel their business, looking to expand, looking to grow, looking to be able to advance your business when it comes to marketing. Today, we're going to be talking about fonts. As you can see there on the screen, I have my computer shared today. I guess similar to Zoom, I have my camera on my computer. So I want to talk about different fonts and what fonts mean to your business. Let's take a look at some popular fonts that already exist. All right, so out there, you'll see the FedEx font. I want to tell you what the difference is between a sans serif and a serif font. So a sans serif font is one like the FedEx that doesn't have the fancy tail on the bottom. And the New York Times would be a serif font because it kind of has some fancy, I guess I call ticks on either end. But as you look at the screen, like the font that you choose for your business, your organization, or your ministry, it really is incredibly important, you guys, when you're looking at these popular brands that are on the screen. Coca-Cola, hey honey, hey Nintendo, New York Times, FedEx. The colors we spoke about on last week is very important, but the font in which you choose. Let's take a look at another one. So here's just a conglomerate of just different fonts from Amazon to IKEA. Look at the way that your Pepsi is written, the M to your McDonald's, the Adidas, Dove. The fonts all make you feel a certain way. Disney has this, hey, Apostle Montero. Disney has this very fun font that's attractive to the kids, that's attractive to Mickey Mouse and all that it has to offer. If you look up here at the Amazon, they chose a simple word and put like just a little arrow that makes you think of forward movement, but also makes you think of people smiling. M, put the TV inside of the M. Coca-Cola did almost like a cursive, fun type of font. And then IKEA boxed their font in, or Levi boxed their font in. So font is very, very important when it comes to your logo, when it comes to your reels that are going to go out, your stories. Font does play a major role. Again, serif on the Sony, you see how the bottom has kind of that leg that it's standing on? That's a serif font. A sans serif font is one like the Adidas that doesn't have any fun ticks at the bottom. Good day. God morning, Apostle McCurry. God morning. If you look at Ford down here, all the way boxed in, or the McDonald's M, when it comes to font, it's very, very important. My style sheet, I'm going to go over here next and zoom in some where you guys can see it a little better. You zoom in just a little bit. So down here under fonts, I think it's important for you to choose 2 to 3 good fonts that you'll use for your reels, when you're posting, when you're making graphics. My suggestion is to choose one font that's a serif. So DM Serif Display is mine. You'll see this little tick on the end of the G. You'll see this leg right here and this tail on the S. That's what makes this a serif font, like right over here in our logo. And then the second font that everyone needs is a nice cursive fancy font. So there's a ton of different fonts that you guys can choose from. Prophet Shalonda, Prophet Pastor, congrats again. Yeah, so there's the cursive font. And then font number 3 is, I chose Amir Grand, which is your serif font, your sans serif, meaning there's no legs like on this G. It's just your basic font. The grand is the word mission, the word tagline, the word typography is all written in this Arial Grande. So when you're thinking about fonts for your reels that are about to come up, you guys are vision casting for 2026. All of us who have businesses, ministries, a product, we're all vision casting. Make sure your fonts are definitely locked in and chosen. It's going to make it easier for your designer and easier for you as you continue to develop different marketing material. It must be the same. It must be, I love what you said, Apostle Montero, a standard procedure, your standard operating procedure. Your font should be locked in there. Every time you see Starbucks, you see the same wording. Every time you see Red Bull, you not only see the same color. We talked about the consistency of colors on last week. So this week we're leveling up with choosing your fonts. We're gonna look at this last one again. FedEx, Canon, IBM did a little strike through. New York Times did a fancy, elegant font. Nintendo went ahead and circled in or enclosed their font. And then your FedEx, they went ahead and put the two words together, which I think was really awesome with the color play. Hey, Prophet Sherry, with the color play. So you might say, well, Sharina, I am hearing what you're saying about fonts, and I feel that my organization, my nonprofit, my church, we definitely need a revamp on our fonts. Where should we start? Where should we go? Like, how did you go about choosing the fonts that you would use on all of your flyers? Well, what you can do is you can go in Canva. Canva has a free version as well as a paid version. I do the paid version, of course, because I'm in Canva every single day. Canva is like my go-to when it comes to design, colors, and just making things look consistent. So the font that you want to choose will be based on your services. Do you service children? Do you service adults only? Does your logo, going back to some of the bigger ones, does your logo need to appear really big on the outside of a store? Because if it does, your Walmarts, your FedEx, your Sam's Club, it's the basic wording with just a unique font. It's let me see some of these that have box stores. So Coca-Cola has a facility, but not necessarily a box store. Disney, everywhere when you come down to Orlando and go to Disney, you'll see Disney everywhere. McDonald's, of course, has in-person stores. So it all depends on where your business will be represented most. If you are online, remember, anticipate the logo going smaller, being small on your reels, on your business card, on your flyers. If you have an in-person location, you can afford a little more detail. Burger King has the burger, the words, and this blue circle. You can anticipate a little more detail when your logo is going to be really big, depending on where you're going to put it. So that font is really going to be determined by what use you have for it. Prophet Sherry, you showed me the revamp of your logos. And those look really amazing. It's nice and clear. It's capturing your vision. And then I want to kind of steer everyone against or away from making your logo look just like what you're serving. For example, a young lady was doing a nail company and wanted a nail and polish and all of that in the logo. Your logo can be highly effective and not have like this Shell logo. It doesn't have a gas pump in it. It says nothing about gas per se, but everyone knows when you see the Shell logo, it represents gas. Or this Dove, it doesn't have anybody with a wash rag. It doesn't have a picture of washing or shampoo. But when you see Dove, you automatically think, your Dove products because it's established its brand. So try to steer away from to a certain degree. Some businesses it still applies to, but most businesses it doesn't. If you have a coffee shop and you want to put a coffee mug with the logo on the inside, that's appropriate to a coffee shop. But there are rare occasions where you will do that, like Red Bull. They do have a bull, right? You see that bull there? Starbucks, it doesn't have a coffee cup. It has a I don't know, it's a mixed reports on what that is in the middle. I think they said a mermaid who attracted sailors to come, if anybody confirmed that. But yeah, when choosing your logo, the Apple logo, looking like it's a bite taken out of the apple, wouldn't represent right computers and things. So when you're thinking about your logo and being represented out there on the web, out there on reels, because our society is turning so AI, social media, graphic, the graphics are small and they're big, you want your fonts to be consistent, which makes it easier for you. So this font, and this font are three that I use consistently. That's good, Prophet Sherry. I love the fact that you confirm that point. So many times logos look like services. Yes, and they're ineffective. And the point of your fonts, the point of marketing is to do what? To have an impact. You're either trying to bring in a client, which is going to bring in money, which that's going to fund the kingdom, right? Or your church is going to bring in members. They're going to learn who Jesus is. They're going to fund the kingdom, not necessarily in a financial way in that sense, but then being able to bring in other disciples and make disciples is a form of funding the kingdom. So every funding is not necessarily cash. Sometimes you're trying to call the person into your church. They may not have any funding to contribute, but you want your logo, your envelopes for offering, the logo that's on the wall to all look excellent, so that when you call that person in and you start to train them about the things of the kingdom, you've already started training them before you started training them. So you've already kind of giving them a picture of excellence before you give them a picture of excellence. I want to bring up my just listed, just sold, so I can show you how I implemented those three. So right here, okay. So right here is an example of making it easy for you. Let me go to pages at the bottom. My internet is loading. Okay, so this is a just listed. So that cursive that you saw is the cursive. That serif font is up here. And then down here with all my wording, because it's so small, is the other font. Then when you go to your next flyer, you changed out your photo, same font for there, but it's the word closed, the same sans serif font down here, but it just says different information. So I'm literally, with pictures, with using my three colors, gold, black, and gray, and different photos, I'm literally able to make under contract look a little different, clear to close when a person is ready to close on a home. I just changed the picture, font stay the same. Open house, white, gold, and black is still represented. And then my last one down here, clear to close again, did a little bit of sparkly at the bottom. It's literally the same color, the same font, you guys, but just a different photo, different layout. You can literally have 100 reels done by a company like Fiverr, giving them your three fonts, giving them your three colors, giving them about 3 to 4 professional photos. You can literally have 100 reels, you guys. So you can literally plan out, as you're planning out who's going to be doing what in your church, your organization, your ministry, or for your product or your brand. You can literally scale out or you can literally prepare 100 graphics just based on your colors and your and a few photos based on what you've created with your style sheet, or what you've created when we meet and we get together and we talk about the fonts that'll work for your organization, for your church, your brand, or your ministry. Those are foundational things. Apostle has been talking about the foundation. And as kingdom citizens, it's very important that as the world has basically leveled up their marketing. Coca-Cola hires, of course, a marketing firm. Starbucks has a law firm, who does all their marketing, because they have to trademark it and patent it and all of the good stuff they do. But even though we may not be to scale as some of these businesses that we're looking at on the screen, we can still provide just as much excellence by just preparing early. You can send Fiverr your 3 logos, your 3 designs, what you stand for. We are a center who caters to those with different disabilities. You can literally send them your colors, your font, your logo, your brand, and they can create 100 reels for you. You can also use Etsy.com. Let me show you guys Etsy. I love me some Etsy. Very affordable ways for you to create a lot of graphics that are consistent for 2026. So I'll put in reels. Reels are in, you guys. You can use reels for your story. You can use reels for just a regular post. So if this person is focused on a weight loss company, meal prep, there are literally all these different reels that you can download into your Canva and literally just fill them in. I'm trying to find one where it has more of the actual reels on the screen. I think this one right here. Yeah, so here, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's just some of what they have in this $57 package. 195 reels and posts for weight loss clinic. So you can literally go to Etsy, type in what you're doing. So let's put in church reel, because you want to be able to capture people to come. They're gonna see before they see. I love what my husband was preaching one time, and he was talking about the preacher was up there speaking the word of God. Everything was amazing. Everything was good. But then the person who was the unbeliever went to the bathroom, and the person who was supposed to clean the bathrooms didn't show up that day, and there was tissue and the bathroom wasn't as clean. The person has OCD and felt so disgusted by the bathroom that by the time they made it back to the sanctuary, they couldn't hear what the pastor was saying, all because of what was in the bathroom. We can't spiritualize that and say, well, they should be focused on the message anyway. Who cares about the bathroom? Jesus has been so good in our lives. Who cares about tissue being everywhere? Well, the unbeliever sees before they see, like they do. With all of you guys think of post-Christ, we saw things, we were judgmental, we were selfish, we were ... We were in our sins, we were in our wicked ways. So when a person comes to experience your ministry, your fellowship, your brand, they're gonna see before you open your mouth. So on your social media, if you have reels that talk about come in and experience freedom, come in to new beginnings and experience ABCD. Come into my real estate business where I'm going to serve with heart. I'm going to lead with integrity. I'm going to explain contracts to you. Like, what's different about your ministry, your brand, or your organization that stands out, but that's also consistent. Consistency is key. And the way to stay consistent, you guys, is to make sure that you use the same fonts, you use the same colors. It might sound redundant, and you might want to get creative, like Pastor Sharina, I want to get creative. I want to do blue for March through, June. Then July through September, I want to use green. And for fall, I want to use fall colors. And for winter, I want to use, snowflakes. Yeah, but you've got to use those graphics in the color of your ministry, just like you have to use fonts. Like, Sharina, want to get boring? Will my audience get tired of seeing the same font? There could be the same font on each of these, you guys. But because the water looks different, because the reel itself looks different members from your church might say something, hey, come experience freedom, because here we are ABCD. But the next week, you might do the same wording, but another person might say the video. So you definitely want to have a style sheet created with 3 fonts, a cursive font, a serif font, and a sans serif, which means without legs. Sans means without. When the Bible talks about every jot and every tittle, that's talking about the different ways and the different font components that came with the Hebrew language. It's really fascinating that fonts go way back when kings and queens would be writing. Certain fonts were used for certain things. So fonts are very, very, very powerful, you guys. So if you're looking to level up in this part of your business, if you're looking to grow and to expand, I would love to meet with you. I'd love to have an opportunity to sit and talk about the different fonts that you can choose, the different colors, how to find the color code for your particular colors, and also how to find styles. So over here, I have different, sorry about that, my computer screen went on down. Okay, and how to have different styles so that every one of your posts have this style represented somewhere. It's really important. And then here it's going to look kind of interesting. Let me give you a warning. My picture's everywhere. But I have these pictures ready so that when a person says, hey, I want you to minister, there's a photo ready. If I'm doing like for sale, just list that. I know it looks kind of interesting having your photo all over the place. But because we are in a virtual world, you guys, we are in reels and posts and social media, your professional photo is very important. And you having several of them, you having 7 to 8, like those photos that you just saw, I consider old. Photos that are 3 to 6 months old. That's for me. So for you guys, maybe twice a year, you might do a professional shoot, but making sure you have photos. Can someone let me know the time? Because while I'm here on Mighty, I can't see the time. Someone can type it in the bottom of the screen. I want to make sure I go to 12:15. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, so just having your tagline, your mission, your vision. Your computer won't do like mine. Oh, 12:20. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for staying on. I'll use a different device to count down my 15 minutes. So that was 20 minutes with the marketing moment. So you guys be blessed. Go ahead and call me 407-750-3959 if you would like to personally talk and kind of go over this. My classes on Eventbrite are about to start opening. I'm going to have some $39 and $49 classes where you can get in Zoom and you can literally look at what I'm doing in Canva so you can do it for yourself. And then I also offer one-on-one coaching outside of the group. So, all right, you guys, be blessed.